The third trend we want to highlight is for British provenance and craft. This is partly born out of our desire to be more thoughtful and appreciative in our buying habits. And it's miles away from the mass market products that you see every day on the high street. These are by Jaslee Kaur from the Royal College of Art, and they combine English and British tea drinking cultures. Very pretty. They were commissioned by Waddesdon Manor in Buckinghamshire. You can buy them on their website. Lizzie Allen. Well, what's different about Lizzie? Well, this is the hand-printed wallpaper that she designs, and she puts on each colour separately, and each colour is allowed to settle and then dry, so that the final result looks like the colour is actually resting on the paper rather than actually dyeing it. It's very beautiful, it's very time-consuming, original. She's inspired by London. They're very whimsical designs. This one's called City Gents. Chatsworth House, probably not what Capability Brown was expecting to see in the garden. This is another example of thoughtful design and British craftsmanship, commissioned by the Duke and Duchess of Devonshire. It's by Corinne Mellor from David Mellor Design, which began 11 or so miles away up the road in Sheffield. Marnie Moyles Furniture. Marnie creates very simple, uncomplicated pieces of furniture using green oak, which is oak that hasn't been seasoned, so it has a very high water content. And as the pieces age, they warp and twist, and it's all part of having nature as part of the design process. And if you, just going back to the Derbyshire theme, if you think of Chesterfield Cathedral, and it's got that twisted spire, and basically that's what's happened there. They used unseasoned wood, although I don't think they were planning it in that particular design. Kate Malone, she makes these fabulous pots. They're huge. She works on a very large scale. This one's about this big. And she creates her own glazes. She has about 1,000 different recipes. And during the firing process, it creates these beautiful nuances in colour. Really stunning pieces. Simon Finch, he could have been a Bay City Roller fan. I can't confirm that. Simon runs a successful rare books business in London, and this is his arts and crafts house in Norfolk. It's one of the original concrete framed houses in the UK, and he was really sensitive with the restoration of the house, and then filled it with quite a quirky mix of furniture. He has a house in South Africa, so he brought over treasures from there. And although it's very English, I think there's something just delightfully eccentric about it. Modern luxury is all about skilled craftsmanship and heritage. Brands like Linley and Soane spring to mind, and Rupert Bevan fits neatly into this category too. He's designed for almost every designer on House and Garden's radar. He's extremely well known. He has blacksmiths, leather workers, cabinet makers. If you've ever been to any of the Soho House properties, you will have sat on or slept in or admired some of his work. He has a studio on Fulham High Street that some of you may have seen. And Rupert has built his brand around having this community of British craftsmen. And this section also includes authenticity. This is joinery firm Atke & Company, who recreate traditional British architectural detailing. Actually, in the April issue, I don't know whether you've seen it yet, but Gabby's done a page on architectural mouldings, and Atke & Company have a credit in there too. This is a feature showcasing British designed fabrics by Olivia Gregory, our senior style editor. There's Richard Smith for Hodsall Mackenzie at Zimmerman Road, Mark Alexander, Chelsea Textiles, Colfax and Fowler. And they're not just beautiful, but part of the appeal of these fabrics is knowing their provenance. As part of its bicentennial celebrations, Heels sold a collection of antique pieces, and this is from the original father of it all, Ambrose Heel. Again, traditional craft combined with cutting-edge design. The black colour on the oak was achieved by using iron filings sprinkled over the wood and then spraying it with water, and the tannins is how they've created this colour. I think it looks a bit like a harp, and probably not that comfortable to sit on, but very beautiful. We did a lifestyle feature on Tim Gregson, who's the chief executive to the Worshipful Company of Carpenters, which is one of London's oldest livery companies. And part of his job is to ensure that craftsmen like this have a place in the world. It's almost as if the faster the speed of modern life, the more that we are going back to appreciating things that are made with love and skill and care. I love this. You just absolutely feel compelled to walk across it. You almost feel like you're looking down a microscope, but these are tiles by a British-French duo from a pottery based near Chablis. Lovely and rustic. I think you're almost buying into, part of their appeal is that you're buying into part of that dream. Brian Stokes, he's a plasterer for a company called R.W. Armstrong and Sons, who specialise in renovating period houses. And I remember seeing this layout in Sue's office when she was choosing photographs, and she was telling me about it. And basically the idea behind it was to herald the people who behind the workmanship that we so admire, and these people so rarely get any credit. So it was lovely. It was really lovely. We're also looking at the triumphant return of individualism, not in the context of an overt display of wealth, but in something really unique and something that's really worth paying extra for. This is Margaret Dyer from the Royal School of Needlework, which is based at Hampton Court. And Jenny Goulding described their work as like painting with thread. The Royal School of Needlework was founded in 1872, and one of its aims was to provide employment for educated women who would otherwise have faced a life of poverty. So there'd probably have been a few house and garden staffers ended up there, I think. They also take commissions from the public and work on royal state occasions, so they're probably beavering away at the small celebration that's happening in April, I should think. We then move on to the trend for vintage and recycled products. The recession in the environment has really propelled our interest in vintage, antiques and recycling. It's modern bric-a-brac, and the motto here is waste not, want not. I'm not sure whether you were watching the Oscars coverage the other night, but Colin Firth's wife, Livia, who frankly would look good wearing a bunch of bananas, was actually wearing a recycled outfit. Her gown was made from antique pieces that she'd found. She was calling it an eco dress, and she was wearing it to raise awareness of recycled clothing. This is a bedhead made out of, this is double recycling. Originally it was ties and a summer dress made into a tablecloth, and then it's been reused again and made as a much loved bedhead. This house was designed by Maria and Adam Speake, owners of Retruvius, which you may know, it's an architectural salvage business on the Harrow Road. Very, very clever lady. She sees beauty where most people just see junk. You can see an old school lab bench made into a kitchen table. There's a rug in the sitting room made from old shoelaces. And there's something very satisfying about the whole process when there's a story to tell.